Yeah. All right. So, I know I promised you another talking head video, but if you're getting as sick of watching them as I am of making them, so let's do something different. I was going to talk about standards and practices. Let's go ahead and talk standards and practices. But let me show you my track plan while we're doing it. Alright, so like I said, I was going to do a separate talking head video on standards, but let's just do this now. This is a space that we've negotiated here, and I've plugged it into Xtrek CAD, 7 foot 3 inches by 8 foot this way. Tree will go over yonder. And I've decided on an L-shaped plan. I divided it up into sections, and this diagonal section is for the control panel. So, right there we've set our boundaries. And we don't want any turnouts or crossovers, anything like that, to be over any of the boundaries here. Just cause problems. We're already got to cut the track. We definitely don't want to cut it in the middle of the points or in a frog. So we'll have to make overlaps to make sure that those stay intact. We'll be using electrical connectors underneath so that I can just plug and play. Now, a track plan this size, it's pretty well suited to an 18-inch radius, so we'll go with that. I'm going to go with the Calm Box standards for the most part here. So sharp curves and number 4 switches. Sure. If I'm going to put it in on the curve, because of the tightness of the radius, I'll go ahead and do a curve turnout. But just for the track plan, I went ahead and plugged in number 4 switches. It was rather fun. Well, we start with the bench work, and here we go with the bench work. It's interesting. We got good support here for the Christmas tree. However, the thing is, I didn't do this plan for the sections. I went a little bit different, and when I show you the bench work, you'll see why. It'll be very easy to understand. So let's get rid of that. And let's go to our super secret hidden layer. There. It's very hard to see that track, so let me just go ahead and highlight it. All this track is hidden. All of it. And the reason I did that is, you know, how much I've stressed being part of a larger world. So, let's be a part of a larger world. I want to be part of your world. So, layover tracks. I have 4 layover tracks here. Kind of a yard. This is a 30-inch radius curve. And I can pull out the properties on it here. Let's see. Click on it. And, of course, it puts it on my other monitor. So, let me drag it over there. So we got nearly a 42-inch length. I needed a 36-inch length to handle the shorter trains, which is the majority of them. 30-inch radius, I can go with 2-inch centers and not have clearance issues. I can click on this one. 36-inch radius, that's showing 27 and change. But we also need to include that one. And that'll take us up to about 32, and there's some more here, another 10 inches, so 42 inches. They're all about the same length. Over here, I got 2 long layover sidings that will go behind the Christmas tree, and I haven't calculated how long this inside one is, and I'm perfectly fine without that. Okay, this long siding back here is nearly 9 feet long. Why would I want something like that? Well, I want to run a couple Northwestern Pacific trains on there, and so I could use this inside one for freight, and this outside one, maybe I got a Christmas train that has a new car every year that gets added to it. Until it gets too long to run on this layout, this is a good home for it. I also have a layover siding here. And this is the main track is this darker one. That's an 18-inch radius. So this is substandard radius. There's a 2.5-inch spacing between the tracks to prevent any conflict. These will be some special trains that I am going to make. Anticipated projects. This is why layouts never get done, because you're always fiddling with a new idea or whatever. So layover sidings, and you'll notice I got a crossover going one way here and another one going the other way here with some spring switches. And if I make these live turnouts, it doesn't matter which way they're facing, both the departure tracks are powered. I can make it so that regardless as to whether a train comes in on this track or that track, they both end up on this track going this way. And then I have to be able to manipulate this switch back and forth. No problem. Yeah, there we go with the storage. Now, obviously we have a loop here. We have track going out, and there is on the next level up connecting track here, and this comes back down, goes underneath the track there and there, comes back up. I think before I build any yard tracks or anything else, I'll place the switches where they need to be, but I'm going to go ahead and get this up and running as quickly as possible, because there's a sense of accomplishment there. So I deliberately designed it so that I could do that. So next layer up, this is Eastwood Junction here, because I got the inside track here, which is hidden, going up, while the outside track is going down. And let me go ahead and make this hidden again. So hidden tracks are now hidden, and you can see Eastwood Junction is just the one siding here and the actual junction. The tracks that go down represent, that larger world, and the tracks that go up lead to the rest of the layout. So let me get rid of this layover layer, and I'll add the next layer. We got a passing siding here that's widely split, and then into the tunnel here, we got a helix. I get a big enough train, like say, that annual car, and that'll be good. This is close to a 4% grade here. The rest of the layout is under 3%. And I just wanted just enough to clear this, but I wanted to make sure it was under 4%. And I wanted the rest of the layout under 3%. I managed to get that done. I got some very gradual grades. There's a very precious little track here. So passing siding here, and another passing siding here. And that'll lead up to the next layer. We'll get rid of that. And boom, there we go. You'll notice here that, I do need that. You notice here that this darker track, the main track, is on the outside, and the inside is not a main line. And that's because it's the switching lead for the yard here. Thou shalt not foul the main is probably one of the biggest commandments when you're designing a yard. And I put in a runaround here because I got an industrial area here. It's just a massive switching puzzle, basically. And I'm going to build up this whole section as a town. I'll bleed over into here a little bit, but this is the town of Wayne. Eastwood and Wayne. My mother and I constantly got into a friendly argument over who was the better cowboy, Clint Eastwood or John Wayne. She picked Wayne and I went Eastwood. And although my mom's no longer with us, I've decided to let the conflict wage on. Who do you think was better? Just leave something in the comments below. So you'll notice we got this like branch line going over here. Now this is I set up just for the really short little special trains that I'm doing. And we got a switch back there, and then it goes up here. Wayne is at 12 inches above the storage tracks. This is Erie or Erie, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Technically, my layout, it's Erie. And Erie is just a couple houses, a little podunk passenger depot, but it also doubles as a cable car because I can go ahead and run a cable from that station up into the tree somewhere and really tie in the layout. And then when I'm running the layout without the tree, which is how I'm setting it up, this will be, just a passenger depot. I'll make it so there's a little hatch or something that I can cover things up with. There is the track plan. Standards, number 4. No grade larger than 4%, preferably under 3%. Had to have, an industrial area for operational interest for myself. There's just the 1 yard, but there's just the one main town that's serviced by, part of the larger world. And I think it'll work out really great for Christmas. And if I do this as a winter theme layout, will also work away from Christmas instead of just, doing a Christmas layout. Expect a video on the benchwork here coming soon. If you like what you see, go ahead and give a like. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down and go in the comments and tell me why so we can make the channel a little bit better. But the biggest thing that you could do to help us grow is to share this with your fellow train nuts. They'd really help us out, and we are trying to kind of reach as many people with this tongue-in-cheek how not to. The philosophy I feel strongly about, but the entertaining part is coming up. I've never hand-laid track of my life. It may make for an interesting video on how to not do a turnout instead of how to do it. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. In the meantime, it's been a lot of fun. Man, that's a lot of track. Adios, amigos. All right. Oh, that didn't work.
This has been a Fish Chips production.